The first thing I've put on here is probably one of the earliest dramas that I remember watching. It's something that my mum really liked watching, and
Yeah.
I don't think I sort of started watching it properly until about season 7. But then I went back and watched some of the earlier seasons. That's ER is the first one on my list. I'm guessing it's on.
Oh.
I mean, my mum loves all these medical dramas, and it's probably sort of season 6, 7. When Gary will probably remember this when
So we're
Carter got.
talking mid 2000
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
thing,
No,
time wise.
late 99, early
Oh
2000.
yeah, earlier than
Oh,
that.
was it? Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe 2000 actually. I think you may
Yeah, I
be
think
looking.
ER started about
Where
1993,
Carter got
94.
stabbed? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of era was the first sort of thing I remember watching it sort of linearly after that. So if you can think, it sort of went from that until season 15, and it sort of dipped in quality after say season 11. I went back and started watching, I think probably 1 to 3, and they're all brilliant. I mean, the stuff with Hathaway, Juliana Margulies' character, Clooney, obviously, Anthony Edwards, that original group. I remember Love's Labour's Lost, which was the episode where the baby dies. Bradley Whitford's in that as well, isn't he?
Oh yes, of course.
And that's just a brilliant hour of drama. Obviously, with like a 24 episode series, you're gonna get sort of some
There's
duds, but
gonna be
I
some
think there are more
good and
hits
bad.
than misses. Certainly in that early block of 3 seasons. I mean, there's another one I remember with Ewan McGregor in it as a armed robber. Even the later seasons where the quality dipped to an extent, there were still episodes where you go, yeah, ER is still brilliant.
These are Matt's Desert Island Dramas.
Dear ER gang, so here I am, out on the beach at 5:30 in the evening. Elizabeth is sitting with me drinking juice, but I'm all about the Mai Tais.
What's you reading? Dr. Green sent a letter.
The sun is going down, Rachel is dipping Ella's toes in the ocean as they head off on a quest for the perfect seashell.
Boy, I wish you were here. Would have done it.
Weirdly enough, I find myself thinking, you know what would make this moment complete? Some jogger dropping to the sand short of breath so I can swoop in with a piece of bamboo to perform a nice, clean intubation.
What's this?
It's Mark.
Fix the guy up, and send him off with a good, simple dispo.
The day I start fantasizing about critical procedures is the day I leave, too.
Which I guess is my way of saying that I miss you all. Lots of
Dr.
times
Green.
I thought I should have chosen a different career, or gone into private practice, something easier, less grinding, more lucrative. But since I've been gone, I realize that outside of what I'm doing right now, sitting on this beach with my family, staying at county all those years, doing what we do on a daily basis, was the best choice I ever made. I know what you're thinking, but trust me, it's not so hard to appreciate once it's over. That you're an incredible group of doctors and nurses who approach every day with such skill, compassion, and thoroughness that when it comes to patient care, I know my absence will hardly be felt. That's just a couple dots, and then Ella is laughing and waving for me. Rachel's found her shell.
Nothing else?
What is it?
This is from Dr. Corday. Mark died this morning at 6:04 a.m. The sun was rising. His favorite time of day. I sent this on so that you might know he was thinking of you all, and that he appreciated knowing you would remember him well.
These aren't ordinary dramas. These are desert island dramas. The dramas that shaped us.
There was a sort of linear arc with Forrest Whitaker, I remember, and there was an episode with Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City where she'd had a stroke, and you heard it was like her thoughts because she couldn't talk, and you heard her sort of thinking, why can't these
Oh,
people?
she had like locked-in syndrome.
Yeah,
did she, or
yeah,
something
and
like that?
that was so well done, and I think it is well written, and obviously these characters come and go, and I think there are some strong characters. Mark Green, obviously, I think is the one we all remember, but also Robert Romano is one of my favourite characters, the Paul McCrane character. It was that sort of first big American drama it's around the same time as the X-Files, wasn't it? I think came out. But it was the first sort of really sort of populist American drama that I think had that element that fed into a lot of the later ones. It was before, now we get how many dramas a year, but I think it was sort of before.
It was
American
very,
drama.
yeah. It was one of the only American shows on over here, I think. wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think
Early
Channel,
Channel 4.
Channel 4 and then E4 had it, and then more 4.
Do you think ER still would be something that people would go, this stands up for them as well, or do you think because you watched it with your mum and you've got memories?
I think it would still stand. Certain episodes would still stand up today. I think they maybe look a little bit dated. Maybe not though, because it is all sort of set that sort of stock photography, and it's all set in the same set.
Again, complete preconception. Was it melodramatic, or did you feel like these are real? This is real people happening. These things are
I wouldn't say so. And Gary, I don't know if you can add anything, because I know you watched this.
Well, my lasting memory of ER was really used that feeling it was two shows. One was a drama about the people working in a hospital and the relationships.
I mean, you saw most of it through the eyes of Noah Wiley's character, didn't you?
That's right, because he's the guy that joins on day one, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's the focus of the show. But the other thing as well that stood out in my mind was and I want to call it like the casualty moments, but I don't mean that in the British way, but like when the helicopter falls on the hospital. You know, when there's the massive bus crash, when they have to go out and rescue the kids in the bridge. You know, those things.
That was another brilliant episode.
Yeah.
But they didn't happen every week, did they?
No, that's right.
That's why they were special.
It had that wonderful way of keeping things on a level, and then it just spiked. And you got the mixture of the drama and the action brilliantly.
I've dedicated my life to pediatric medicine. I've cared for dozens of dying kids. Kids in agony, pain. You and I can't even imagine. Ricky Abbott was gonna die. Not in a month, or a week, or a day. In hours. And nothing I did or could have done was gonna change that. His mother had already watched one son die from the disease, and she was sitting there watching her second son die in a horrible death from something that she passed on to him. Sometimes it's impossible to save a kid's life, and the only thing we can do is save them from suffering. Leave them with a little dignity. In the end, that's all they have.
Tell me, were you relieving the child's suffering, or were you relieving your own? If you were so certain you were doing the right thing, why didn't you administer the lethal dose yourself? You're the doctor. You could have stayed. You could have made sure there were no complications. That he really did die with dignity. But you left. You knew that killing that child was wrong. That's why you snuck out of the house before dawn, isn't it? You didn't want to be there, did you? Because you knew killing Ricky Abbott was wrong.
It's 15 seasons, so it'd take me a while to watch them all on the desert island.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think I got all 15 seasons for about 40 quid or something like that.
There is a great to own box set with lots of extras as well that I've always had my eyes on, but it's never cheap enough on a website for me to go, oh yeah, I'll have that. But when it is, I will own that, because I'm sure it will come down.
Maura Tierney has to get a mention as well as Abby. I think she sort of kept it going through the later seasons.
I always thought she was a dull character, but there you go.
No, I liked her. They had a lot of big actors, sort of got some before they were famous, and some sort of like Sally Field had a big role in it. William H. Macy in the earlier seasons had a big role.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you forget.
A lot of big actors sort of made their way through the doors at some point of County, as it was called.